This is your fucking moment. You only get one moment in life. It's not hiding in some cubicle answering some fucking phone. Can you handle it?
Yeah, I can handle the moment.
An artist is the slipperiest, most conniving motherfucker on the face of the earth. That's why you have to watch your tushy, while at the same time you make them feel like a star. It's called mind fucking. You ever been mind fucked before?
Super Flag Bros. Super Flag
See, that's it. That's the art of it. I'm mind fucking the shit out of you.
Division 6 Podcast. Division 6 Podcast.
You're wearing a condom because I have a dirty mind.
Don't smile like that. Makes you look like an 8-year-old boy who just discovered his first boner.
Welcome everyone, you were listening to Super Flag Bros. I'm happy I said the right name of the right show.
Yeah.
Happened for the first time, I like it. I am Peace Delariz. I am joined in studio with my flag bro himself, Deez Delariz. And we're joined, of course, in studio with the Eagle at Master Control. You can tweet the Eagle at EagleFPF. Should you want to tweet the show live, it's a great way to get your questions asked. If you have any questions at all, whether it be about flag football, Division 6, your sex life,
Actually, yeah, you should definitely.
We'll actually answer it, so go ahead and tweet it. I want to just go ahead, and before we start the show, I want to ask, when did shit get so expensive? Like, I need to buy lamps for my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I walked into the store, and like, you can't find a decent sized lamp for under $50.
Because you're poor, that's why.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't.
No, things haven't got more expensive. You just got
more
poor.
Yeah.
Inflation.
No, but like, and then like, you know those like bathroom things where you put your soap and stuff? They're like $20.
Yeah.
That's insane. Anyway.
Why don't you just make your own lamp?
I guess that's possible. But I'm trying to avoid electrocution, much like NWO avoided a loss this week in a tight game against the Minge.
That's a really nice transition.
Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
They win it 19-13. I figured at home they were trying to figure out when we're going to actually get to flag football. NWO wins it 19-13, tight game. We see NWO going to 4-0 despite having a sort of a tussle against a struggling Minge team. Are NWO for real at 4-0?
Well, I mean, I think that they're in the right position. That's for sure. It's really hard to say if a team is for real or not at this point. But what I could say is that it's important to win games like this. I really don't think that the record is indicative of who the Minge are. I think that they're definitely going to pick up steam, hopefully soon. But
Steam
definitely
is ethereal. You can't ever pick it up.
Okay, but you know what I mean. Like, well, once they get it going, I think that they'll get things straight. I think they probably have a bit of an issue right now with quarterback, but definitely nothing to take away from NWO. It was a tight game, and I expect. You're asking me if they're for real. And how can we really tell if a team is really for real?
Well, the reason I ask is because they've beaten TMNB.
Yeah.
In their first ever FPF game.
Right.
When they're still struggling. Jean-Guy, struggling team. Smoke and Axels, who, despite having the most difficult name to pronounce, again, struggling team. And now the Minge, who are 0-4. I think amongst the teams they've played, they have a combined 2 wins.
You're right. You're right in the sense that the matchup really makes the team sometimes.
And then we see them going up against LA's finest Wolfpack in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so then we'll really get a feel of it. Get them on scale.
Sanchez, however, I will say, having seen him in person this week,
he looks really
very impressive.
Really accurate.
And he's come a long way. Like 3 seasons is kind of what you see it take generally for quarterbacks to get it.
Oh, does it?
I'm hoping. No, but seriously, like 3 seasons is typically what happens because it's really when you start to trust yourself and start to be able to just go out there and make plays.
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing in Sanchez. So less reliant on the gimmick plays, which we'll touch on later in the show.
Definitely.
But like they're still in there, they're still in the playbook, but it's less of a crutch.
It's the fact that they're able to spread around the ball. If there's one thing that we learned last night in our terrible loss, is that the fact is they were able to spread around the ball between different receivers. Mm-hmm. That can always be a deadly thing.
Yeah. Noah Zucker comes in, play quarterback. He struggles significantly. Is he this full-time solution for the Minge?
It's tough to tell. I mean, they're really in flux at this point. They haven't really decided where they were going to go to. I know that Zucker wanted to play quarterback, and he rightfully should if he feels like that's going to improve the team. But it really was a close game, and I don't think it's I think they need to stick with it. If you're gonna make a quarterback change, you need to stick with it now, or else then it's gonna get a lot more tricky when you bring in a third guy.
Of course. Eagle Master Control pointing out that Sanchez actually played quarterback for 4 seasons, not 3. To which I say I only covered him in 3 seasons, so therefore that's all that matters.
And also the first season, he didn't play as much. Definitely
played 8 games.
Yeah,
you're looking at backwards.
4 games this season. No, 4 games. I really.
Your brain is wired backwards. Also, just a quick shout out: John Brown in this game as rusher, bearing down on Sanchez, makes a one-handed pick 6. Not like he batted it up in the air and caught it. He caught it clean with one hand and in motion, grabbed the ball, took it back to the
Amazing.
house.
Velociraptor style.
Absolutely Velociraptor style. Not enough credit is given to Jurassic Park as a movie, but it's a topic for another day.
Absolutely.
Topic for today, however, is flagrant fouls being the Wolfpack, 31-18, coming off the game.
Were you shocked with this?
Not shocked, and I'll tell you why. If you read the script, you would have known how I was leading you there, but we'll get there. We'll get there soon enough.
Awesome.
The score, I think, wasn't truly indicative of the game. I think it was closer than that for most of it. So getting a late score kind of pads it. At the end, it looks like, they won by a couple of scores there, didn't they? That's of course, the FPF media pundit voice.
Right.
So score wasn't very indicative. But what I thought would be a struggle for Wolfpack in this game is they're very gifted athletic defenders who keep their eye on the quarterback. And they undercut a lot of routes, and if you telegraph where you're throwing, Wolfpack will eat you up.
Right. No, that's.
And I'm not just saying that because of the Wolfpack and the dogs and eating and.
Well, that's actually exactly why they chose that name for that team.
I would imagine because they eat it up. But Russ Oshansky, who's a tackle running back, a very gifted tackle running back. He's very shifty, so I figured he'd be able to buy time, and then because the plays would break down. And they're all the Wolfpack defense is all watching the quarterback.
Yeah.
Then what you see is sort of those guys in the next level are getting lost, in the intermediate area are getting lost, and I figured Ross would be able to take advantage of that, and that's exactly what happened in this game.
Essentially, that brings up a big problem for a team. Whenever you have a quarterback that's very shifty, playing against a defense that peers on that they're specifically paying attention to what's in front of them, the quarterback. What ends up happening is that they get lost. There's definitely receivers deep that can get open. Especially when you have a quarterback like you said. I mean, this guy moves around very fast, and that definitely can buy him a couple of extra seconds. And they also have very fast receivers, so they get open. Defense is bearing down, not realizing that you have multiple options for a quarterback.
Of course. Yakub Telemak, and interestingly, my autocorrect changed the name to Yaklub Telemak, which would be an awesome name for a club. So Yakub, if you're looking for a name for your club, Yaklub Telemak, I'd go. I'm down. He was all over the place on O and on D. Not enough in this game. Mm-hmm. In a game like that, what do you think Wolfpack has to do to be able to keep pace? What adjustments would their D have had to make?
Well, at this point, I mean, it's really about spraying around the ball, I mean
on defense though, specifically.
No, I know, but I'm saying, the ball's being spread around, so you really need to expand the field a bit, get a lot more deep coverage, trying to apply different plays also. So you're not really specifically you're not rerunning the same play over and over. It gets very repetitive. So against an offense that's generally spreading around the ball, and also you're wondering too, there's a specific weapon that's being used. It's easy to say that you want to double cover a guy, but that creates a lot of opening in separate parts of the field. So it's really about shifting coverage.
True. In the last game that we're going to cover today, Mountain Goats beat Pakawatch 12-7.
Right.
A game I was a part of, a game you were there to watch.
Yeah.
We came down to the last play.
Mm-hmm.
Ball batted down in the last play. It was an excellent defensive play. That being said, Mountain Goats really made good offensive adjustments in the second half. William McCuster made his presence felt, having 4 catches.
Yeah.
Just being all over the field, eating up tons of yardage at a time. Mm-hmm. What's your assessment of this game?
Well, I kind of felt that the thing about Mountain Goats, and the thing that we've touched on a couple of times throughout the season, is that they are a very young team, yes, but they're also very shifty. They're very quick. The problem is with a team like that, they can really attack you with short slants, with drags and whatnot, and that seemed to be an issue for Pocket Wash, because throughout the field they're attacking short, and then when you get to when you get towards the end zone, everyone's kind of reacting a little bit too much. But
essentially, like it was 2 deep bombs that set up a couple of red zone.
And that's the other thing too. Like they're very fast team, they're very shifty, and having having those kind of weapons on an offense can become very effective. Whereas with Pocket Watch, they're lacking that verticality
due to the injury of course the Félanger. Yeah, I would say the other thing they're lacking is quarterback play. Not exactly my finest moment, but for Pocket Watch, like it's still a team with a lot of veterans, a lot of experience. So
and nice jerseys, by the way.
Nice jerseys, absolutely, by Dr. Designs himself.
Right.
But what I'm curious about is what would a team like that, with a lot of experience, lacking their main threat, how can you overcome that? How can you become effective in spite of that?
Well, you really need to understand the players that you have on that team, and that's specifically like you have multiple targets. And that's one thing. Like you have a center that's very reliable. Evan has maybe the best hands that I've seen.
Evan Eli Nolet.
Evan Eli, yes. Evan Eli, that's his middle name. Yeah. Definitely a very.
Not sure if it's like a middle name or a first last name,
but you do have a lot of reliable targets on the field, and in this situation, like you're playing against the defense that's very quick, covers the guys very very quickly. But the thing is, you also have to be able to attack the fact that they're immature in the game itself, that they haven't been playing very long. Maybe have a couple of routes that intersect, maybe, because from what I saw that they play a lot of man coverage.
And this will lead to science, of course. Intersecting lines actually connect at some point. So running intersecting routes and not undercutting routes would lead your receivers to collide into each other.
Right, but you know what I'm trying to say.
So again, we'll touch on more science later in the show, of course.
But what I'm trying to get at is it's a team that seems to be aggressive. They play a lot of man coverage, and I respect that. I think that a team that knows how to play man coverage very well in our sport can be very successful. But that being said, they're very young, and they're and also young in the league specifically, not in age. And I think that's something that you can take advantage of.
Yeah, and you know what? They are young. They're probably too young to understand the name of our next segment, which is Reading Rainbow. And when we come back, we'll discuss it.
Calling the Audible has been brought to you by the English Montreal School Board's DEAL program. Distance education for all learners will allow you to obtain your high school diploma or prerequisites for CEGEP or vocational studies from the comfort of your own home. It's never too late to go back to school. Learn anywhere at your own pace and get your diploma. Call 514-788-5937 for information or visit www.distanted.ca for more details.
Back, it is Super Flag Bros. We are in our new home at Coast to Coast Studios at www.theunclemikeshow.com. Our new home has been very accommodating. It's beautiful. Thank you, Uncle Mike, for all that you do. I am in studio with Deez Delarise. If you want to follow him, you can follow him home, or you can follow him more safely on Twitter at Dave's Republic. You can follow me
at Michael McDonald. At Michael McDonald's.
You can also follow Michael McDonald. He's a wonderful guy, and he likes kittens. You can follow me at PeasFPF. I am, of course, Peas Delarice, and our wonderful knob twirling producer is the Eagle at Master Control. Of course, you can follow him at Eagle FPF. As I promised, it's Reading Rainbow time. What I found amazing was the main character was also the main character on Star Trek, and on Star Trek, Geordi was blind, but he also hosted Reading Rainbow.
Right.
So he could have had a spin-off called Futuristic Braille Rainbow as well.
You know that they actually make books with Braille in them.
They do make books with Braille.
They really do.
I know. That's what the joke was. So, that being said, what I want to talk about, because I had a chance to watch NWO in person for the first time this
Right.
season, and I just got to see Mike Sanchez still running the read option. Teams are not stopping it. I
Really
find
not.
that very curious. So I wanted to break down the read option a little bit, kind of NFL film style, and I wanted to see what you thought. How should teams stop the read option?
Read option is really about making sure that there's double coverage, that there's two guys being able to. What is
Eagle
read option?
makes a good point. We should define the read option. Most of us do watch football, and that's why we play this game. But for those who don't, who basically their friends lied and thought it was a hockey team, it's when you have a player in the backfield next to the quarterback who, after the snap,
We played a team last night that ran read
they
option
ran
against
well.
us.
They ran a version of the.
They didn't run it very well. They beat us in everything else but the read option.
Yes, they did. Well, no, you Pocket Watch played against a team. The Cougars did not run the read option against.
They did a few times, quite a few
okay.
times.
I haven't played
You
defense.
were just too busy on the sideline.
Getting angry.
Crying.
So the read option is when you have a running back in the backfield.
Right.
After the snap,
There's an option.
well, yes, but specifically that the running back will cross in front of the quarterback. The quarterback can choose to keep the ball or hand the ball off depending on how the rusher reacts.
Mm-hmm.
And if the quarterback keeps it, they can roll out and throw. They can run. Otherwise, the guy running with the ball can keep running. It gives you some options. It's allowed NWO to come a long way from when they started.
Yep, and they're using it a lot better too.
They're using
so.
it better, and I think they're using it less frequently.
Right, which also helps.
Which helps because
Can't
it's-
always run a read option.
It's not it's not a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like it's there. It's in the playbook. They're using what's the law.
And it works very well for specifically Division 6.
Yeah. So that being said, how do you stop it?
Well, that's the thing.
Because it doesn't work in higher divisions for a reason.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And essentially, for me, what I've always found is your guy is playing in the middle needs to be able to read the play and communicate with the rest of the defense. You know, and make sure that they know. Obviously, it depends what play you're running. But when there's a read option, you will generally want to stay away from man coverage because, or you have a bit of a mix. Like what I do is the rusher specifically takes one side. If he's rushing from the right side, he'll take whatever's on that side, and the middle will let's say there's a handoff, right? Quarterback runs left. The guy in the middle will follow him. So it's really about communicating within the rusher in the middle.
Yeah. It's almost like you want to assign one guy to the rusher and then one guy to the linebacker.
It doesn't work that way though, because you can't assign specific two guys to a specific person. You have to
assign
have
one guy to one guy and one guy to another guy.
No, yeah, I
So
know.
it's right
I know.
and left.
Yeah, no, So that's it. But
the same thing.
No,
It's-
we're not talking about specific people. It's more about dividing the field. Essentially, is
I
what
would
I'm trying to say.
disagree. I think if your rusher stays on the quarterback no matter what, because
Yeah.
that's his job, you can take your middle linebacker out of coverage
Mm-hmm.
because he's no longer covering a receiver because there's one receiver less.
True, but I think we're getting at the same point is that you have to
Yeah,
have two.
you have to keep your
There has
center.
to be two specific individuals. It can't be a one person battle. Like there are two players in the backfield, both of which can probably throw the ball. Hopefully, if you're running the read option, you need to have two players that can actually
Although
throw the
I
ball.
have a rule clarification, Eagle. If the ball's handed off in front of the quarterback, is it still eligible for? Is that player eligible to throw the ball,
Yes.
even though it's not behind the quarterback? So what if the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, but in a forward motion?
Then that person is not eligible to throw.
But it's still technically a run in FPF standards. I think there's something to be brought to
because
rules
it's
committee.
considered a forward pass that's caught behind the line of
But that's considered a run in FPF.
That's
so
not
this
considered
is-
a run. That's considered a forward pass.
Absolutely not.
Yes,
It's
but the
considered a
moment
run
they
in
cross the-
FPF.
The moment they cross the line, it becomes a run. But up until that point, it's a forward pass.
You guys should just make out.
That's
get it
ridiculous.
over with.
I find that's a dumb rule. That's something that
Because-
should
okay,
definitely be
but
revisited.
If he drops the ball, he doesn't lose yards. It's not a sack. it's an incomplete pass.
You guys are definitely in love with each other. It's very obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. It's his graying hair. So yeah, essentially that's it. Make sure you keep your assignments.
No, but it's about keeping your assignments, but it's about reading the field, having you having the understanding that it's not that it's not specifically a one man battle. You have to have a second guy out there reading the play with you.
Sure. I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Since we're in a segment trying to help teams improve in Division 6, give me 3 habits of good teams.
So I have a specific rule. I don't know if you know this or not, but I have the 3C rule. You need three things to win. Okay. You need confidence, you need chemistry, you need catches. Okay, so it's pretty good, eh? Not bad. I was thinking about this.
And that went a lot better than I thought it was going to
No, seriously, no. Like, just hear me out. I know you think I'm an idiot sometimes, but this I think I have it for real. Look, you need confidence as a team in order to build chemistry, and with chemistry come catches.
That's true,
right?
And
but let me just explain more. Like for me, when I'm talking about chemistry, I'm talking about the ability to communicate as a team, confidence, playing not like a bunch of babies, and catches. Got to catch the ball.
Well, and you brought up chemistry, and that brings us to Science Hour with Duke.
Oh God!
Every week I take a scientific concept, I throw it to my co-host.
Terrible.
He does his best to try and explain what that concept is.
I was kind of hoping that this wasn't going to be in.
It's going to be in every week. It's been approved by President Campana. He loves it, so therefore it's going to stay. So I'm gonna throw a scientific concept to you. You're gonna describe it. I will not explain it. It will then become the actual definition for the concept in the future for future generations.
This is kind of like if I did a quarterback hour with peas.
Exactly. Perfect. So the scientific concept is Planck's constant.
Planck's constant? That's made up.
Nope, it's actually
1,000% made up.
3 people in this room know what that is.
Planck's constant.
Absolutely.
So there was a dude. Okay, there was a dude.
Go for it.
Right? Mm-hmm. His name is Planck. What he would always do is consistently lie in places. Lie face down in gutters, in sidewalks. And there is a general rule that was established from this, which is that when you lie consistently in different areas, you will get arrested for being an idiot.
That's actually true. So basically, Planck's constant is when you lie in a gutter, you will be stupid and be arrested for being stupid.
Pretty much.
All right, now we know.
I like this segment.
What we're saying is Planck's constant is for the homeless. That being said, let's look at some of the teams in the gutter, some of the teams making their way out of the gutter. Let's talk about the upcoming games with quick picks and quick analysis of the games that are coming. We have Beast Mode facing off against the Tigers. Pick who's going to win, and you can't say it's because of the team name.
Beast Mode and Tigers.
Yeah.
Definitely but the 2 best team names, I gotta say.
I gotta say that. So who's winning this game?
Goddamn, I'm the worst for that. Who's winning this game? I don't know. I'm gonna go with definitely with Beast Mode.
I think Tigers will come out ahead in this one. They've been getting better each week. I can see them pulling the upset, if you even call it that. Next game is Sun Bros. Pardon My Swag.
Pardon My Swag, actually. Pardon My Swag has been playing very well. They've been building up a lot of confidence throughout the season, and I think that they're on a streak right now. And I think that they're definitely ready to win against the Sun Bros. Yeah,
they took a loss early. They struggled to win their first game, which I thought they would walk away with easily.
Right.
So I think that helped build character for the team. I'm inclined to agree. Although the Sun Bros are one of those teams where it can be a trap game, I will still side with Pardon My Swag. Goon Squad versus Team 4th and 20.
Team 4th and 20, definitely. I don't think Goon Squad's there yet. I think that they're gonna get there soon, but I definitely see this as a game that's gonna build confidence.
I think so.
For a team that's lacking some.
I think you have some good points there, but I think Goon Squad will come ahead. Again, starting to develop, starting to understand some concepts on how to play defense. I'm gonna say Goon Squad, and I will recommend that next season you change your name to Goon Swan. We have Balls Deep and Orange Crush.
Definitely Balls Deep in this one.
Okay, if you're Balls Deep in this one, how come?
Balls Deep in this one. I don't know. I don't think Orange Crush has really figured out what their team is yet. And when they do, when they figure out who their quarterback is and whatnot, I think that they'll have a better chance.
I agree. Wax on, wax off versus Diablos.
Wax on, wax off. I think so. I think that this is definitely a game they need to win, and I think that they understand that this is the kind of game they need to win if they need to excel.
We have wax on, wax off. I think they're getting surprised last week. in a tie game against Mountain Goats. They were then faced off against Mean Machine, a very, very strong team.
A very surprising good season as well.
Yeah, and we see that wax on, wax off. I think that's the game that shook them up. I think they're ready to go. I think they'll win it. Pocket Watch, Mean Machine.
I'm sorry, buddy. Not gonna go with you.
Fair enough.
Not gonna go with all three of you.
Wolfpack, Obamacare.
You know, this is a really good game, but I think the fact that Obamacare lost last week is going to be essentially like I can't see them coming out and losing 2 games in a row. I can't, and I originally didn't think they were gonna lose a game this season.
I feel the exact same way about Wolfpack. So I think Wolfpack are going to come ahead because they lost that game last week. TMNB versus the Minge, the battle of 2 winless teams.
The Minge, they're getting closer and closer to what they need to be.
I disagree. I'm going to say TMNB.
Right?
The Minge are a mess right now.
You think so?
They really got to clean it up. NWO versus LA's Finest.
NWO, and I think this is the week that they need to specifically prove that they're better than what we think they are. You know.
I think NWO is cocky, but I like it, so I'm going to stick with NWO.
Right.
I think this is the first test, so it won't be as easy as they've seen. But I think LA's Finest will give them a game. NWO wins in the end. Mountain Goats, Flagrant Fouls.
Actually, Mountain Goats.
I'm going to say Flagrant Fouls. It's a different kind of beast from what they've played the last couple of weeks. I don't think it's the kind of game they're ready for.
I don't think so. I think they're better than what you think.
No, I've played them last week. They are a good team. But that being said, it's a different kind of team from what they've seen so far. Jean-Guy versus Smoking Axles.
Jean-Guy this time. I honestly think that Christophe Chartrand is gonna probably have about 600 yards rushing this year. I don't know. I just
most likely in a game where I think we'll see maybe 13 points combined.
Right.
I think Smoking Axles will make the convert and win the game. So I'm gonna say Smoking Axles. Woo. Yeah. So final thoughts.
Don't eat ribs in the car. Terrible for you.
That's a good point. Interesting. I didn't get that reference.
No, but seriously, when you eat ribs in the car, you
Yeah.
get heartburn because your spine is you're eating inwards towards the steering wheel. It's not
Eating
good.
inwards.
And seriously, I ate like 3 ribs. I had heartburn immediately. Almost got into a car accident.
Fair enough.
Don't eat that before a game.
Thanks, Steez, for joining me on the show. Thanks, GM, for being on time for our next show. Eagle, thanks for turning the knobs. I am Pease Delariz. You have been listening to Super Flag Bros. And remember, watch out for the mushrooms.
At Michael McDonald.